Ready when you are, CB. Do I start in Canada or Mexico?
It's me and Animal Kingdom.
We really AK hate us?
As I introduce this incredible panel, James Beek and Kerr Smith. You go as far or as near me as you want. It's all good. For each other. So, welcome. How does it feel to be a 90s con? This is your first 90s con, right?
My first, yeah. Me too.
What are you thinking about these fans as you're meeting them at your booths and all of this?
I'm thinking they were alive in the 90s.
Some longer than others.
I love it, because I mean, at a certain point in making the show, and I've really done most of what I've done, it was easier to just kind of commit 100% on the day, and then just for my own mental health, like, put a firewall and walk away from it. And so what I love about this is I don't have to watch the show, I get to experience the show through y'all, which is like a way better way, because now I'm not like looking at my hair and criticizing myself and picking myself apart. I can just like get the highlight reel from you, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's perfect. Your hair looks good, man. Thank you.
Both of your hair looks beautiful. James, what was the moment when you realized this show was a phenomenon?
Okay, so when I was 17, I'd done a movie called Angus. Thank you. That is like 100 times more people than were in the theater actually watching it. And so everybody was saying when I was shooting that, are you ready for your life to change? And I was like, yeah, I'm 17, let's change it up. And then when I was 20 at Dawson, everybody was saying, are you ready for your life to change? And I was like, I know this story. I know how this works out. You're going to say my life's going to change, and then nothing's going to change. And then everybody kept on saying and saying and saying, and I didn't believe it until I got off the plane in Los Angeles, and there's a billboard. And my face was like, even, bigger than it is now. Like, watching over the street, and I couldn't believe so many actors. Growing up typing my last name, I have 3 capitals in my last name, so I had like space shift, this, space shift. The fact that somebody else had to type my name on the billboard was like the wildest thing to me. So I think that was when somebody else had to type that last name. I think that might not have been lying, this might change my life. Yeah.
We played a lot, and we were outside of Hollywood.
Yeah.
It felt like that here.
For sure. I feel like the fact that we shot Huntington is the reason none of us are in jail right now.
This is true.
Like really, we don't have a single cast member who are like, oh, I'll mention that. And I don't know that there are many casts who don't have at least one somewhere like it. And I feel like it was because we shot in a small town with a crew. The crew were just kind of cool, and I feel like in the business it's almost like working in a vacuum. Your bad behavior doesn't get reflected back at you. But in a small town, if you were a jerk on set, you're going to be lonely on the weekends.
Yeah.
So it really kind of kept us grounded in a beautiful way.
We had a lot of fun together.
We did.
Remember Masonboro?
Yes.
Every weekend?
Yeah. There's a little island we used to go down to every weekend.
Well, I want to shift a little bit back to the show itself. Kerr, when you joined, did you know that Jack was going to be a long-term character, or had you been told? How long had you been told?
Yeah, good question.
To stick around?
Yes, it was a series where you never, there's no guarantees. But when I was hired to create a love triangle between this guy and Katie. His character was straight. And it wasn't until...
When did they not tell you about your character?
Especially that, anyway. And Kevin, when he's in the creative show, he comes down, as he always did in those days, and he's like, hey, you want to go downtown and have a cup of coffee? I'm like, oh my God.
That was always the conversation you dreaded when they created the show. It's like, do you want to come out and have a cup of coffee?
Yeah, like Oh, geez. But I had an idea of what he was going to say, because with Kevin, all the characters on Dawson's were an element of his personality, and he was in the closet at that time. He wanted to express his sexuality through a character, so it was me. So he literally, I'm drinking my coffee, and he's like, "So we're going to go down a different avenue with Jack." And I'm like, "What avenue is this?" I knew what he was talking about, but I said, "All right, I'll tell you what. Give me the day. Let me call a few people, opinions that I really respect, and let me make a decision here." And I called everybody I respected, and they all said, "Do it." It's a bold move, as you know, back then in the late 90s. We're really, James agrees, we're really proud of that storyline because we changed the world. It was the first, and you can turn the TV on now without everything being expressed. So we're really proud of that.
Yeah, it's important to recognize the context that you did that in. Like that was a time when if theaters even gave a rumor about somebody, like they would lose work. And so for you to embrace it and do it as brave as you did at that particular time, that's awesome.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
And people now watching this for the first time, younger generations, or rewatching it, how does that change the way that fans have interacted with you? Or has it increased frequency, or how is it different?
It has increased frequency. I always wonder, like, when it's like a 15 or a 13-year-old say that they're watching Dawson's Creek, I'm like, does that show you what Little House on the Prairie was today? I mean, in terms of technology, it's about the same leap. I mean, we didn't even have cell phones the first couple of years. Somebody has like, well, how did you guys find each other? Did you just like wander around and cry? I was like, yeah, pretty much, So yeah, it's wild to see like a younger generation. But the biggest matters in the heart are pretty universal, and maybe it is a novelty that we weren't walking around with our heads buried in our phones. But yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, well said. I think it's the characters went through experiences that all generations are going to go through at some point, so everybody can kind of relate.
Yeah.
I think high school too is universal. Just everyone's at least experiencing that lunchroom and all of the stereotypes that go along with it. By the way, it's a good point about Dawson. Murray turns 50 this year.
Wow.
Just like People Magazine.
Wow.
Just like James and Kerr. Next week.
Almost.
Yeah. He's March 8th, I'm March 9th.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday, guys. Did you both get the cookies from Mary Market Films?
No!
No.
You didn't play her song, bro.
It's true.
Yeah. Very Market Films, who played my mom on the show, bakes me cookies every year and everything. And sends them to me. Chocolate chip.
Yeah, my favorite.
Chocolate chip. She used to do it back in the day, like when I was there, because I was away from my family. And then after my mom passed a couple years ago, or years since then, she makes me cookies. And FedEx them to me.
She's a great lady. She really is like a second mom.
She really is.
Yeah.